Yay.
We are live, guys.
Oh, barely.
Oh,
I demand
barely.
I demand to speak to September's manager. I swear.
It's Karen Leish.
Yeah, exactly.
October's gonna be crazy for me.
No more crazy. I can't handle any more nonsense. Moratorium on nonsense until the end of the year.
Coming. It's gonna get crazy.
Oh.
Jesus.
So how are you guys doing today? We're all back together again.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's been a hot minute.
We're getting the band back together.
Right?
And we added someone to the gang today.
Yeah.
We did. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
So I got a question for
the
you
myth,
guys.
the legend.
Yeah.
Because I've been hearing a lot about Dustin lately.
Yeah.
You fake it till you make it, right?
Right. Well, that's true. Yes.
No, you do not do that.
Well, to an extent. Not there's a certain extent you don't do that.
Right. Like, when you start believing the BS.
To be fair, there may be a track record of work behind me at least to show that we are where we're supposed to be.
Well, that's not faking it. Right. That's not faking it.
Right.
That's not faking it. That is like put your nose to the grindstone and get to work.
Exactly.
But when you start believing your own bullshit,
Hey,
that's true. Yeah.
Then there might be a problem.
I'm in it.
In it to win it.
Yes, ma'am. You better believe it.
Me too.
So I got some questions for you guys tonight.
Hey, where's your intro?
Yeah, should we introduce ourselves first? People may
I
have
was going to say, I got some questions and stuff, but we're going to get to that after I get the intro.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yeah, we're all out of practice.
It's been 4 weeks. People are like, who are these bitches? Come on.
All right, guys. Hold your seats, hold your tits, whatever you want to do. We'll be back in a minute.
Oh, man, I was jamming there for a minute.
Yeah.
Fastest minute ever.
Yeah. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Geekgasm.
Nita's getting the weed giggles already.
Yeah.
She just started.
No.
No? You guys together, Nita?
Oh,
she's muted, so she should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I am your indie princess Lola. I am the EIC over at indievault.com. I'm also a publisher, creator, writer, a lot of different stuff.
A lot of ers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Besides student. Can't add a to that. Student-er.
Yeah.
And I am joined by my lovely co-host, Daphne. Welcome
Hello.
back.
Yeah, thank you. Remember, no more nonsense until the end of the year. Hi everyone, my name is Daphne Lage, and I'm a cartoonist, illustrator, and comic book artist from New York. Hopefully lacking in water right now. I have been publishing comics since 1992, and I'm also sharing an office with a parrot. So if you hear any weird noises in the background, that's what it is. And I am known for my funny animal fantasy Tall Tales, which we will be getting the books from the Kickstarter this week, and we'll start shipping next week for everyone who is so kind enough to back that. And I am also known for my fantasy soap opera drama, Eagle Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn, now on Kickstarter and just announced as a Kickstarter project we love. So go show Eagle Raven, lsonline.com and egoworks.com, EGOWORKS. And you can also check out all my videos, and I'm getting back into live streaming too every week about how I make my comics and everything on YouTube at Daphne Lage, Lage Art. Oh, and one last thing before I forget, I'm also known for the furry porn House of Bob on Fur Affinity, so check that out too.
And one of the questions I have for you guys is about furries.
Oh, okay, all right.
Miss Nita.
My name is Nita Lanning. I am a writer, vlogger, blogger from Southeast Louisiana. I am a member of Ragin' ABC with my beautiful, incredible, sexy, whatever the fuck she is, partner, my soulmate, Meredith Logren. where we take care of some social media management and other nonsense and get into like dirty shenanigans behind the scenes and whatnot. All right.
Meredith.
Mhm. I am Meredith Lochran. I am also a writer, vlogger, blogger. I am a social media manager. I am a writer. I have the Compendium of Dread. It is an anthology of dark fiction, volume 1, which suggests that there may be a volume 2 in the works. Who knows? You can follow me at Raging ABC. We do a lot of stuff as far as cross promotion and advocating for independent creators. Dustin.
Oh lordy. Like right on the spot, right? Threw you on there. Cool. So I am, as Steph Wilson would call it, a up and coming legend in the indie community, apparently. And I'm cool with that. You know, I'll run with it, whatever. But I'm a writer, publisher, business owner, comic enthusiast. You guys are all throwing up fucking books like gang signs, so I have a copy of BGD in front of me. I've got a copy of the Greed exclusive in front of me. Oh, the listener is over there with Nita. So one cool thing about me, and I'll toot my horn about it, is I've got 8 books out in less than a year's time.
Wow. Congratulations.
Oh, look at it. Oh, the Greed. Oh, so good. That is the only wraparound cover we've done so far. Lots of fun with that book. Speaking of Greed, it's actually on Indiegogo right now, and you guys can check that out. Good stuff. Having a lot of fun with that. Nita and Meredith are absolutely killing that campaign. I know it was a lot of work, so we really appreciate that. And if you guys ever need any editorials or your shit run, definitely run over to them because they're awesome.
Yes, they are.
I mean, I write a lot. I talk a lot of shit. I do things. And yeah, man, I just want to make the comic book world a better place, I guess, kind of, sort of, maybe. And a safe place for people that like naked dinosaur chicks.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes.
It's all about good storytelling. Good story.
Absolutely.
And naked dinosaur chicks.
And naked dinosaur chicks.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
We got a critical blast in the house. What's up, RJ?
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sweet.
And maybe Dino Dong. Can we say that? Dino Dong.
That's your fault.
Dick.
That's your fault. And when they see
I like Dong.
It's gonna be it's double D, all right? And you guys are gonna see it in the next issue. It's Bill's fault.
It is a
It's
double
all
D.
Meredith's fault. It's all Meredith's
No.
fault.
Unfortunately, you just can't see it here because we just got monetized, and we don't want to, we don't want to shut down the channel just yet.
I don't even have an
open
image
for
of
super chats.
It might look
I
like
don't
something
have an
like
image
this.
of Dino Dong.
Remember,
at all.
tip well and tip often.
Or don't just give the tip though. Give a little more than that. But there's there's lots.
Welcome to Geekgasm, everybody.
Right.
Obviously, we're back to normal.
There's a lot to be read about what we put out though. BGD is probably our most adult book. We've also got Greed, which is an offshoot of The Listener, and which is horror, monsters, demons, and what have you. And then we've got The Listener, which is very serious and down to earth. So also monsters, demons, what have you, but more into theology and stuff like that.
So something for everybody.
Yeah, man. If you write everything the same way, people get bored with you, right?
Except the kids. We don't have shit for the kids.
I
Keep
don't.
your crotch goblins away.
I don't have any crotch goblin material. I have 2 kids, and I have nothing that they're allowed to read. So
Yeah, they don't need it.
They got Dr. Seuss. Wait a minute, are people not allowed to read that anymore? They've got something they can read up there. I promise.
I think Redfish Bluefish is still on.
It's still going,
It's
yeah.
still out there. It's still out
Okay.
there.
I was just in the bookstore last
Yeah.
week, and
Right,
there was a
yeah.
lot of Dr. Seuss stuff. So
Yeah.
All right.
exactly, yeah.
I'm not ready to cancel Mr. Seuss just yet.
Until people start getting upset that the redfish is the minority.
Well, that's the
Nita.
Sneeches.
What?
That's the star-bellied Sneeches.
Oh no! Oh no! Are you my mother? Fuck off!
Oh my god.
Oh, the places you will go. Oh, you have no idea.
I always thought green eggs and ham was a little bit, a little sketchy.
Right.
Just me.
All right, so my first question.
Okay.
I
Yes.
right.
Yes.
I was watching. I have to watch a documentary of my choice from this list that my professor gave me, right?
Okay. Uh-oh.
And make a PowerPoint about it. So they had one about furries
Oh boy.
because it's a diversity class.
Right.
So watching this video, the first thing that she says is because of cartoons with talking animals in it, and because of Walt Disney and the costumes, the characters in costumes, that's what started furries.
Well,
You agree with that?
well,
It
it's
said because that
partial.
created the empire, and the
Right.
kids that grew up loving those talking animals and the costume characters, they are now furries.
Well, if you speak to people, it depends on who you speak to in the fandom. They'll say how it's like furries actually go back to Egyptian mythology and all that stuff. But really, if you really want to know where furries started, it's Disney's Robin Hood. Maid Marian is the original waifu. So yes, if we want to blame, if we want to be like very specific, I would say it would be Disney's Robin Hood that did it, because
Oh yeah.
that's kind of what did it for me. I guess that and The Secret of Nim, but but yeah, definitely Disney's Robin Hood.
Was it Justin? Was it
Oh
Justin
hell
Daphne?
yeah, hell yeah, it was.
Justin was hot.
Hell yeah, it was.
I don't know that, in my opinion. So as a kid, growing up in the 80s and whatnot, we got to see a lot of that stuff, right?
Mhm.
I think the first anthropomorphic characters were coming out in the early 80s and whatnot. We were starting to see Roger Rabbit. We were starting to see, Cool World, things like that. And it was interesting that we could bring these characters to life. Like technology, you have to remember, we're old. So technology was in a place at that point that was showing us that it was possible. And as human beings, the guys that did Mass Effect said it best: you want to fuck everything that walks. And that's that becomes a very true statement in society as a norm right now. This is a very deep conversation. I mean, opening this, because as we're going forward, if you look at me personally, okay, I have a book where I question whether it's sane to love an AI or not to love an AI.
Right.
Is it okay to fall in love with an interspecies, relation? That to me is along the lines of interracial relations. What's wrong with it? Does it harm you? Does it harm other people? Does my decision to think that maybe I'll use Lola Bunny all day. She's tattooed on my calf. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, she was the hottest thing walking. Like the next to Jessica Rabbit, who's tattooed on my other calf.
There you go. I was wondering, do you have the OG?
So my calves literally read Bunny Rabbit. You know what I mean? So it's like, but there's the concept where we find it as a faux pas. Society said it was wrong. We were weird. We were strange. So we didn't talk about it. Cartoons were something you weren't allowed to find sexually attractive or appealing. But we've been doing caricatures and art for thousands of years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't deny something that's pretty or attractive, as me, as a normal dude, we're not going to throw out any kind of nomenclature or anything. Okay. Cause that's not me. So as a dude, that's into chicks, it's a very easy thing to do. You know what I'm saying? When you go, hey, look, is this attractive to a male? A hetero male, is it attractive? Yes, because you're accentuating assets that we find interesting. You know what I'm saying? So if you go, hey, there's Lola Bunny. If you look at Lola Bunny right now, okay, versus how she was when we were kids, there's a very large difference.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now, if you tried to get apparel, toys, anything from Lola Bunny when we were younger, WB was like slapping it down. You couldn't get it. There were no action figures that came out with Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? There were very few shirts. There were very few boxers or anything that had anything with her on it. It was like looking for the diamond in the rough, because they created it to be this a really attractive thing. Look at Super Power Girl, okay? Power Girl and Adam Hughes. You know what I'm saying? When Power Girl came out, they told Adam Hughes that her breasts were too big. You know what he did? He made them bigger. What he did. And it
because
was
you don't tell Adam Hughes that. That's
absolutely. And when the character came out, he was like, "Cool, I'm going to make him bigger." He literally in an interview was like, "I was going to make him so big that they had to tell me I wasn't allowed to do it anymore." You know what I mean? And it becomes this whole deal with what is the norm anymore, right? And especially with the society is right now, with Ninja Turtles making a huge comeback, because all the
ever left. They just come back in cycles, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Every 10 years or so, they make a comeback. Because if you look at it, they do a new show or they do a new film every 10 years. You know what I mean? Every time somebody that needs money from, Nickelodeon comes out, they're like, "Hey, look, we need to do another Turtles." Fuck.
Right.
So, but as a kid, I can imagine there were girls that were like, "Hey, look, this turtle's pretty dope."
Michelangelo was the shit. He's
right.
airheaded just like I like him.
Right. Hey, Steve's not airheaded. Don't mess with me. So anyway, so you've got this concept with characters like that, your Street Sharks, your Ninja Turtles, all these anthropomorphic characters that were very interesting. Right. So when we were like, well, we're going to do something different, and it's very relevant to BGD because Babes, Gore, and Dinosaurs is that. It is, is it okay? Earlier, Anita and Meredith talked about dinosaur appendages, male appendages. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, is it okay to have a phallus in the book? Yeah,
we said dick. So, we don't use those words. We don't use phallus. We don't talk like that. People know us. They know you're lying, Dustin. we said there's tits and ass. Is there
a nighttime show where we're DSL SV in case anyone needed to be reminded. So I just like the way how Dustin is really being academic about this. Where pretty much for me, it just boiled down to it came down to my pubescent ass wanting to fuck Justin and Jenner, and I learned how to draw. I learned really pushed myself to draw. Yeah, I know. I really pushed myself to improve my artwork because I couldn't find enough product or any product with them on it.
Right on.
Right?
I mean, I can vibe with that too.
So I just really enjoy that. It's like, here you are being all like, serious and stuff. And I'm like, wait, what?
Well, you like right now with our book, right? It was seriously, I thought, a very serious conversation between all of us if we could put out a book that people would buy. If this was 30 years ago, people wouldn't buy BGD. They would have been embarrassed to buy it. It would have had to been behind a counter. And now, just like what is the what's the I know you know what book I'm talking about with the rabbit, the stripper, the
Omaha the Cat Dancer.
Absolutely. So I have every issue, right? I have every issue upstairs from both volumes. Okay. I actually got them when I owned my shop. But the point is, those books were a faux pas in that time period, and they're low print run, they're hard to come.
They really are, yeah.
So
that's a man I'm waiting for him to do a Kickstarter so I can throw all my money at.
Absolutely. So when BGD came up, it was like, man, look, we're going to ease people into all these waters. You know what I mean? Because, showing off a dick in the middle of a comic book is still a faux pas in modern comic books now. You know what I mean? So it was, look at Batman. Look at the shit with
that was a mature, and that was supposed to be like their mature label, and people still freaked out.
Absolutely. So how do we fight this? Okay, cool. So the next issue of BGD, and it'll be funny, and this will be an exclusive for this show. We the whole issue is our main character naked from page 4 to page 24.
There you go.
So
ease everybody into it.
Ease them in. You know what I mean? But you won't. It's fun. You'll get the vibe of it as you check it out. But there's a lot going on with these stories, and I was like, "Fuck, man, can we make money off of nude dinosaurs?" And all of a sudden, it's the best selling book that we've put out.
Right? Yeah.
And it was like, cool beans. That was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be to get people to like it. So yeah, no, I don't think that it came from any particular place, in my opinion. I think we as human beings find things interesting. You know, like if we have first contact with aliens, that's going to be the first thing somebody does. They're just going to take their clothes off and be like, "Here we are, welcome to Earth."
Oh, absolutely.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, so I don't know. I think there are a lot of different ways. You know, even the chick, what was her name from Rescue Rangers? You know what I mean?
Gadget.
You know what I mean?
That was yeah.
No. That one and Sally from Sonic the Hedgehog.
The Dark Sonic, the one that came on Fox that they only showed like 2 seasons of, that was super dark and gritty. Absolutely. Then they did the bear.
It didn't need that. I mean, it's like I just remember all the porno trends from back.
Oh no. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a million different directions you could go from. I don't think there's any one character that brought that out. I mean, it's a societal norm now. I mean, Judy Hopps had me fall on the fucking floor the first time I saw that movie. Fuck, shit, goddamn. You got that bunny booty going, and I didn't know what to think about myself.
Oh yeah, no. Everybody who worked on that it is a furry. You can't convince me otherwise. But the thing is, though, the thing is, though, especially when you were saying that back in the day, because like anything that was furry was automatically considered pornography.
Absolutely,
because it's like, you know, because I showed my book Tall Tales, and I'm finally able to do this now. So my book Tall Tales, it's a Lord of the Rings fantasy adventure. It's like it's nothing more than that. I mean, it's like if you're familiar with Lord of the Rings, that's pretty much the book, right?
It's violent Robin Hood.
Yeah, exactly. It's violent Robin Hood. But the problem was that there was a particular cover. Well, there were 2 covers that got me into trouble. Well, one, and the thing is, though, because this is how people see this. So like they would see, you know, like that cover, right? Okay, it's like, okay, you know, no big deal, you know, it's like, all right, you know, and then it's like, you know, the rest of the, you know, the rest of the series would have similar covers like that. So it's like, okay, oh, action adventure, you know, this type of thing, right? And then, you know, and then there was this one particular one that I kind of got a mixed reaction to.
Oh gosh.
So this particular cover, you know, a blood-covered panda. So right. I would either get, oh my God, that is so cool, or it's like, oh, I don't know, this book is really violent, right? But either way, there was no real, there wasn't really that much gnashing of teeth over the content because of this cover.
That was the 90s though, right? Early 90s?
Yeah, but wait till you see the cover that started the shit.
Okay.
This cover got me into so much trouble. What? I had to start taking it off the table because I would have parents trying to fight me. What the fuck are you trying to sell my kids? This is the cover. Finally, I am able to show it.
That's mad funny because it's not even.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. It's like, so they would see this and they go, oh, it's really violent, but it's like, oh, but it's so cool at the same time.
Yeah,
what are you trying to sell my kids? Yeah. Oh, no. What are you trying to sell my kids? And
I love that cover.
Me too. That's my favorite.
This is a parody of a photo of what was his name? It was Dolly Parton, and his name just escaped me.
Was it Burt Reynolds?
No. Damn, he's a British guy. Oh, I forgot his name, but it's like, you know, it's a photo. So the joke, because it's like he was always known as being short. So when he was with Dolly Parton, this is exactly what happened. So I did a cover based on that thing, and it got to a point
Dudley
where
Moore?
I had to. That's him, yeah, Dudley Moore, and I had to take this issue off the table. Because no matter how many times I would tell people, this is not furry porn, it's an action adventure comic, it's not a big deal, you can flip through it, it's fine, they would freak out over that cover. So yeah, I mean, and the thing is, though, honestly, to this day, I'm so shell-shocked by it, I wouldn't do a cover like this anymore.
I think but sadly, that's one of those things, like right now, even to this day, okay?
Yeah.
If you look at Greed, like the first issue of Greed, we took all these amazing artists, right? And we did these incredible covers. I think we have 6 or 7 covers for that book. and they're great, right? But they all exude cartoonish artwork and, you know, little dude and his monster buddy, you know. You get in the interior, the dude's shooting birds at people, eating other people, talking shit to folks. You know what I mean? It's like you're not expecting it. Even my fans, when they picked up the book, were like, "Oh yeah, this is a little out of his norm. We're gonna pick it up, and it's just gonna be a kid's book." And then when they open it, I got so many messages like, "Holy shit, thank you! You know, thank you for not doing a kid's book." And I was like, you know, but I think that one thing that you capitalized on, and it's an incredible thing to do, is the time that you put that book out. Because at that point in time, anthropomorphic characters were at a peak.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
For comic books and everything else. I mean, because not only did you have the Ninja Turtles, you also had the Mighty Mutanimals, which was Ray Fillet. You had your Mondo Gecko, your
oh yeah, all the all the inspired by books that came out at the time. Yeah,
absolutely. You know what I mean? Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? All those books, and I think it was a great time period for comics to begin with. But I think we're getting there again. I think the market is bubbling, and we're going to see a bubble pop very shortly in the next couple of years. But I don't think it's going to affect the indie market like it affects the mainstream market.
I believe that too. Yeah.
But now we're getting to, now that it's a societal norm, we can see the naked dinosaur chicks or the naked rabbit chicks or the naked anything chicks and be like, okay, cool. Because what used to be an insult is no longer an insult. You know what I mean? I mean, we live in a world where slut shaming is a faux pas. You know what I mean? And when we were kids, it was like, hey, that's pretty normal. You know what I mean? Now it's like, okay, cool. You know, you can have a naked dinosaur chick and no one's going to talk shit about the naked dinosaur chick.
I think that has a lot to do with the fact that thanks to crowdfunding, we can bypass a lot of the people who would get their panties in a twist over
Absolutely.
Stuff. We sell directly to the people who want it, as opposed to trying to convince store owners. It's like, oh, I have to put this behind glass or something, you know, because it's like, as somebody who was inadvertently involved with a case that actually got a retailer almost sent to prison, you know, Texas versus Castillo, we know that's a real possibility even to this day.
For sure.
So the fact that we can bypass that is really. It's such kind of like takes a lot of pressure off of us, because it's like, now it's like we can mark our books as mature and not have to worry about whether stores are going to all of a sudden dump us because, oh, I can't sell that in my store.
For sure. Right on.
Yeah.
I do want to apologize, Lola. I wasn't trying to take over the conversation.
You guys can keep talking. I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
She's doing her homework based on our answers. That's what it is.
Yeah, and I'm okay with it. That's fine. It's an interesting conversation though, because when, like you mentioned, Daphne, that I come at it very analytically because it wasn't an easy thing for me to write. You know what I'm saying? It was fun and it was great. And we're going to continue it. It's an ongoing book. All our books are bi-monthly. You know what I mean? So we're constantly putting books out. But it was very like we're going on a limb to put this out. You know, so it's like, where do we put it? Who's going to get it? You know, people are going to follow it. And then I was like, cool. It's not porn. It's really not.
Right.
You know, it's nudity's been, that's another one of those things that's been around for millions of years. So whatever, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I think the human body is a beautiful thing. So it's an argument that anybody can have all day long that it's going to fall on deaf ears with me. You know what I mean? So, but when we put out characters like this, it does the exact same thing that you mentioned before. You're like, well, I put out this awesome action adventure book and this cover looks like this, you know, porcupine is like all up in somebody's boobies. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, at the same time, we have all these covers that are like this, but none of them have interaction with other characters.
Right.
There's no sexual acts or lewd. Well, Trevor's has got a little bit of a lewd going on with it. But other than that, There's not really any, well, I mean, it's lewd to oneself, you know what I'm saying? So, but it was fun to get people that were like, hey, it's going to be dinosaur porn. And I was like, it's really not.
Right.
And the reaction that we got from the people that got the previews and the early copies of the books has been amazing. You know, it's been really, really good, and we're really happy with it. In fact, Nita and Meredith both read it, and they both have copies of it.
Also, don't they make cameos in the book?
They have an awesome thing going on with a lot of things that I can't talk about, but they have a lot.
Yeah, we got awesome secrets between the three of us. We got secrets.
There's fun stuff going on. They were made into characters.
Don't say fun stuff going on. You gotta say fun stuff coming.
Oh gosh.
Either way, context.
No, when Nita says that it's cum text, you know, I gotcha. Okay, well, that's fair. So, but there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of neat stuff to be seen. But at the same time, we also still fight that diversity market, you know. So, I don't think I fuck around with people when I'm like, it's not a furry book, you know what I mean? And they're like, well, dinosaurs are fur, and I was like, there's no fur on the goddamn dinosaur.
Right.
Okay, so
I think that
scaly.
They're like scalies. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Get it right.
Velociraptors did have fur.
Do what now?
Feathers. Well,
Feathers.
it's debatable. It's debated whether it's feathers or furs.
And we throw it in there. Trust me.
We calling them scalies.
Yeah,
We calling them scalies.
Ooh,
my zebra, like that's a furry.
Yeah, it's like wow, we're going really old school here. Like I haven't heard like a lot of this terminology since the 90s.
Yeah, so but it's fun because it's like literally you have these characters, and like I said, we go into the fact is it okay to love an AI, and to me that's it's the very same type of concept because it's what quote unquote naughty how you feel about it. Is it there was a movie what was the name of that movie that came out a few years ago?
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Girl, I think it is.
No, it's Ex Machina.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's an incredible film. If you watch it for what it is, it's an incredible film. So when you get into these concepts, you have this character that we're introducing at the end of book 2 that is literally the security system for our bar piece of tail, you know? So, but it's interesting to think, hey, look, how do I talk to that? You know what I mean? How do I react to that? You know, is it okay to react this way? Is it okay to find it attractive? You know what I mean? All these things are so ingrained in us that this is the societal norm. Now, though, we can break down those barriers with particular fan bases, like you mentioned, using Kickstarter. I love Kickstarter. I think it's great. We're using Indiegogo for the first time right now, which is fun as well. I'm finding that super interesting. But
it's a different audience.
For sure. You know, I'm in it to win it regardless. You know what I'm saying? This is if people are interested in what we've done now in less than a year, I'm gonna blow your goddamn mind to Mars by the middle of next year.
Really.
You know what I mean? So
I have a question about something that you had mentioned, but you know, it's like because the thing is though, like for a little bit I angsted for a bit about marking my book Eagle Raven as mature readers because I know what's coming up. Like I said, it's not porn, but it's not something that I want people to just blindly give to their 6-year-olds either. Especially after the reactions that I got over a stupid cover for Tall Tales. And I finally, thanks to these two, I finally, I had decided that I was going to market mature readers from the very beginning, so it's like, okay, now it's mature readers. It's like, and when I did that, I found such a release of pressure that came off of me of that. It's like, that's like by marking it mature readers, I'm just outright saying it's like, look, I'm not interested in entertaining your kids.
For sure.
I'm not here to entertain your kids. And you know what? I'm not going to worry about that. And there was just something very liberating about like coming to that term, and kind of and it's like, I'm wondering if you felt the same way when you decided that it's like, okay, I'm going to do a mature book. again, not porn,
Right.
but you know what? But again, it's like, I'm not here to entertain the kids.
For sure. When we came out with The Listener, it was, I wasn't going to do a comic book. Like I'd owned a shop for years. I'd been selling books professionally for a long time. And my uncle died. And it was such an experience. Like I hadn't spent time like that with anybody else other than my wife and my immediate family in many years, So when he passed, it was like, fuck, man. And I wrote a eulogy. And I wasn't trying to get any feedback or anything, but I put it on Facebook because Facebook is one of those things like MySpace that if I ever want to go back and look for it in the ether, the eulogy will be there, right? So I put the eulogy out there, and Bud Root reached out to me. I'm a huge fan. If you guys don't know who Bud Root is, you need to check him out. He's an incredible human being. He puts out a book called Cave Woman. It's absolutely incredible. It's been out since the 80s from Basement Comics. Really, really good stuff.
Yeah, it's like up there with FemForce, like the comic that will not die.
Absolutely. It's incredible. And he's such a nice person. And he reached out and he was like, man, this is epic. You should do something. So then my buddy Mike DeBalver reached out and he was like, hey man, you gotta put that on paper. You've been in comics for so long, you gotta put it in paper. And I was like, okay. I knew it couldn't be a kid's book. I knew that I didn't want the limitations of it being a all ages book. Yeah. All right. Because now at the same time, I'm learning as I go, just like anybody else. Right. So like right now, my books are from 2 different publishers. Next year they won't be, but this year they're 2 different publishers. So it was like, I didn't want people going, BGD was in the same world as The Listener and Greed. You know what I mean? Because I just didn't want that. I didn't want the worlds crossed or anything like that, because of the content that I put in the different books. That being said, it's not porn, but it's what we call like top shelf. Like if you like to drink alcohol, The Listener is my top shelf. That's where it's at. You know what I mean? Not everybody's going to dig The Listener, but those that do are going to realize how deep, dark, and morally obscure the book actually is. So if you hang down here, you've got Greed, which is mad fun. Anybody can pick up Greed and enjoy it. It's a mature title, but you can pick it up on issue 2 and 3, even missing issue 1 and enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's like I used to go to a kid. We'd go to the gas station once a month and I could get a book off the spinner rack. There'd never be the 2nd and 3rd fucking book. It'd be 1 and then 5 and then 7 and whatever the fuck else, So, and that's how we treated it, and I wanted you to be able to pick up Greed and enjoy it after how heavy The Listener is. I needed something. My wife calls it my let your hair down book. You know what I mean? So it's like, I had to be able to give you something in the same world that you could enjoy and like almost let off a little bit of steam with, and then it was like, okay, BGD's tough though, man. You know what I mean? It's tough. There's parts of it that are really going to pull in some people and scare away others. And I'm okay with that because my fans stick to their books. Like I got fans that won't support BGD that absolutely love my other books. You know what I'm saying? It's a very up or down type of situation. And, but I was real nervous. To do a book where I was going to show you things you hadn't seen before. All my books are original. I don't ever piggyback off any other stories that I've ever seen. Now, if I haven't seen it, whatever, I've not read everything, so, but if I have, there's no references other than a joke or two to make people realize I read the same kind of shit you do. You know what I mean? So, but it comes down to this point where I was scared of how people would react. And then I got more brazen with it. And then I got to the point where I was like, I didn't fucking care anymore. Yeah. And that did me better than anything. Yeah. It really did. The fact that instead of writing it to a demographic, I changed my viewpoint and started writing it how I wanted to see it. Like I would enjoy reading it is how I started writing BGD. And it was like, cool, look, if you've ever been in a titty bar, yeah, it's BGD all day. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you really enjoyed Total Recall, it's BGD all day, or Blade Runner all day, or John fucking Wick all day. You know what I mean? It's like it's like or if you're prepared to take that step, I think that's what makes the difference. If you're ready, are you confident that you can give people what you perceive and you want to give them? If you're nervous and you're not writing what you want to write, your fans pick up on that. Hey, is this, it's a little bit different than when you normally put out. You know, it is a little bit different, but I like it. You'll like it. You know, we joked about the fake it or make it thing. Meredith has whooped my ass about fake it or make it because I haven't faked anything. You know what I mean? So it's basically like balls to the wall all the time. We're writing 7 different ongoing books right now. And it's like trying to write formulas for each of them. A year ago, I'd have been fucking terrified. Like just absolutely terrified, because the experience that you have gives you such an incredible advantage in this. You've gotten to see so much going on, whereas I've met success in a short time period. So I don't have that, oh man, is this going to work? You know, you have this, I've done this, fans like this, you know, do we move in this direction? They enjoyed that. You know what I mean? I don't want to rush myself, but I desperately want that period in my life. You know, I want to get to that. Hey, look, I know they're going to dig this one. Now, right now with BGD though, I was like, it's going to be fucking banging. After book one came out, I was like, oh fuck, now shit's running. You know, same thing with Greed. Greed came out in pop numbers higher than the Listener did, and the Listener did well. So it was like, holy shit, you know, this little green fucker that wants to kill everything on God's green earth, but his little buddy is just dope as shit, and people enjoy him. You know what I mean? I think that we go into these things with this mentality of, will we succeed? And I think we have to turn that around to, we will succeed. And I'm not trying to give you a fucking buddy speech about how, you know, we've got to keep our fucking moral value high and we need to feel good all the fucking time, because we don't. As writers and creators, we don't fucking feel good all the time. You know what I mean? You wake up some days and you're like,
it's still work. That's what people forget. It's still work. Yeah, it's like there are times where I love it, and there are times I'm like, fuck, I gotta work.
yeah, like no one else is writing this shit. You know what I mean?
Hey.
I mean, it's very telling though. Like, so when you look at your stuff, like I don't know if your ears were burning the other night, but the 3 of us were talking about you the other night.
Oh, Nita and Meredith are always talking about me.
It was like, but it was like, you know, hey, look at this campaign. This campaign looks really good. And they were poking at me about a bunny thing. Okay, is what was really going on. So, but you know, I got to thinking, and Nita said something, and I'll say it on air because it's funny to me, and we'll go with it. Nita was like, she's one of my favorites, right? She's one of my favorites. And I was like, well, that's pretty obvious, right? So I got to thinking after I got off, and because you're on the show tonight, I'll yeah, exactly.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
So cover wise, I do a dinosaur book. Would you be interested, because my friend Nita is a fan, in doing a cover for our book?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to do a cover.
Merry Christmas, Nita.
You know, I mean, it's like the thing is that what's funny is that I had mentioned this before, but I'm like going, damn, I got to get all these other covers that I have out of the way. Yeah. If I didn't have all these covers, like I would have like done something. It's like, dude, this is like my jam. It's like this dude's like doing stripper dinosaurs, and I'm missing out.
Yeah, we are 6 months out right now, so you have plenty of time.
Oh no, absolutely.
We are 6 months out. We're really excited. But I am that guy that is, and Nita and Meredith will tell you, I am one of the best friends you can have because I'm loyal to a fault. So there's something about your artwork that's fun. You know what I mean? I have a team of 26 artists right now. And with the amount of books that we have, they get to jump from whatever book they feel like working on. And that's how we work with things. So we don't consider people contractors. We consider them teammates because it's important. You know, we're all just trying to do the thing. You know what I mean? And I think that's so relevant in this industry when it's like, there's so many fucking talented folks. You're just looking around and you're like, oh, God damn it. You know, do I have the talent? Yes, motherfucker, you have the talent. Stand up. You know, so.
Speaking of covers.
Oh, yeah. Let's
see it.
Actually, I'll hold on.
You can probably show it better.
Hold on, let me see the window. Oh, okay. Can I share this?
I love the question. Can I share this live? Is that a thing?
Let's see. Can you see that?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Remove that one.
Yeah, so this is a cover that I'm working on for Lola for her Kickstarter exclusive version of Lore.
Okay.
And this is it's still unfinished, obviously. This is just the preliminary inks, but I had wanted to show Lola what I was up to today.
It is awesome.
Sure.
I love it.
It looks so good.
Thank you. I mean, what's funny is that I keep looking at it, and Zach's expression, this the guy kissing her hair, breaks my heart, knowing what happens in the book. So it's like, this cover is like all like a 80s erotic thriller tragedy for me.
Yeah, so it's like, what was that? The Red Shoe Diaries when we were kids.
Yeah,
right?
something like that. Yeah. So it's like, yeah. So yes, I would love to do your character, your covers of dinosaur strippers.
Yeah, we have a couple of them. It's a little more than dinosaur strippers, I promise. But so we got Greed going right now. We're very proud of that. Like I said, Nita and Meredith have been smashing the Indiegogo. It's quite a different thing for us to do an Indiegogo. You know what I mean? I have a fairly large fan base on Kickstarter, so coming to Indiegogo was interesting. We're hoping to meet some new folks, meet some new fans, show the content to some new people. But it's fun. We're having a good time. And he's cute. He's a cute little green fucker.
He is.
Gremlins are always in.
Absolutely, for sure.
So
and
tell
this
us a
was
little bit about it.
Greed. Oh my God. So Greed is like I mentioned, it is a offshoot of the Listener. It's in the same world as the Listener, whereas in our world, gods, demons, monsters, and what have you exist. And the only thing that separates us from them is like an inch thick wall. That is it. And only certain people can see it. So once you cross through it, we one thing that we put together to decide to show you guys the difference when you're there and when you're not is the color scheme. You'll always get your main characters and your monsters and stuff like that will be in color. Your background will be black, white, and gray, when you're on the other side. That was a lot of fun for us. But this is a book where I joke about the fact that it probably pissed people off at the last show we did, because of the fact that it's one of those books where you could find Christ playing chess with Odin if you timed it right.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So, but it's basically about this kid that meets his monster under the bed. His monster under the bed's a huge dick and draws him into a war in this spiritual realm. So think Little Monsters with Howie Mandel, but like a rated R Little Monsters. Like he's not the nicest little dude, but at the same time, he's a lot of fun. He's got a lot of attitude. Where you've got this kid that's like a straight A student that's a good kid, and now he's got this little shit telling him what he should be and should not be doing. So, I don't know. It was fun, man. We had a really good team. We still have that team. Great folks. We added a T-shirt to this that I think is super dope that we've not done before, and that was Meredith's creation, which is absolutely stunning. That's a cover, and it's homage, and it's a Hulk homage, so that was fun too for us. Everything is nostalgia value with this particular book. It's like, what were we into? What did we like? Steph Wilson did an awesome cover that you guys got to get a peek of for the new one today, that where he's holding where Lilith is holding Sabaro's cup. But it's just enough for you to know it's a Sabaro's cup from the mall.
Well, of course, we don't want any trademark infringement or anything.
Absolutely not. Just enough. Just enough for you to get it. But then Meredith made this amazing video, like holy shit fuck video.
I'll play that in a minute.
I remember asking Dustin when we had it done, and for his first viewing, I'm like, hey, You want to poop your pants?
Oh yeah, I was like, if I'd have been fucked even if I was wearing Depends. It was.
No,
Man, it was so
Meredith
good.
has this knack of matching up music with like image beats, and it's just really, you know, I just really enjoy that.
Super talented lady for sure. Like super talented lady. But you know, we bring covers in, you know, we bring in awesome artists. So we brought Frank Forty into the last one. You know, we've brought Jen's original artwork is on the kick or on the Indiegogo down there at the bottom. You know, the artwork is a lot of fun. You know, that's the Indiegogo exclusive cover that Jen did, the Gremlins homage for the second movie. So that's a lot of fun. That'll be colored by the time this all comes, you know, full circle. But yeah, a lot of fun. I enjoy it.
It looks awesome.
A couple people like it, from what I hear anyway.
So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video.
By all means.
You see, that's what I'm talking about. Like she really know. Like I don't. It's like the way she matches up the music with certain. It's like I don't have the patience to do that.
I mean, I thought I was biased. I about peed. You know, I was so excited. It was like
we lost Nita.
The little puppy. You know, when I saw it, I was just like, oh my god, jumping up and down and shit. And oh man, Red Rocket, this motherfucker. This is great.
Yeah, you did a really good job on that. The video's awesome.
You know, it's a lot of fun, right? So we introduce in this first issue, we're introducing you to the two main characters. Then in issue 2, which is coming out next month, you know, we're getting into the meat of what's going on, where they're at, what's, you know, the relationship between these two characters. And that's the most important thing. A lot of people look at it like it's the monsters and it's the hyper violence and stuff like that, but it's literally the character building between these two individuals. You know, you've got this kid, and at 10 years old, like I have an 11-year-old daughter, so I just got past this phase, right, where everything is new and it's all exciting. And at 10 years old, you're just starting to find your own feet, you know? So it's like, holy shit, everything's really neat. And then you've got this little monster thing that's trying to tell you to do things that are bad. And you're like, well, no, that's not so, you know, I may not, you know, be allowed to do that. But you run with it because he's cool as shit and he's helping you do all kinds of wild ass stuff, you know? And then you realize through book 2 how dangerous the shit really is that he's putting you in, you know? And in book 3, we start doing the crossover between characters from the listener and Greed. And that's a lot of fun because you don't have to read the listener to enjoy the characters that we're bringing over, you know? So I think that's fun. Like I said, it's about gods and monsters and demons and whatnot. So you'll start seeing like Lilith in book 2, Kugelain, the Celtic god, in book 3. The Sin Wrath makes his first appearance in book 3. Lots of fun stuff like that. It's, I don't know, man. There's a lot going on, and I am eternally grateful to everyone involved. We'll put it that way. You know, just over the fucking moon with the people that are working with us.
I'm gonna have to get that Mortal Kombat cover.
Man, it was fun, right? So you know the pit level, right? So it's
Mortal
like
Kombat's my favorite game.
Right on. So the pit level, it was like we were like, well, we wanted to do an homage because the anniversary just popped up not long ago. You know, we were like, okay, how are we going to do this? But then it was like, what really sucks on the floor, right? Not the spikes from the pit. And I was like, man, if you've ever stepped on a goddamn Lego, you've wanted to die. You know, so I've got kids and I've stepped on numerous Legos and right.
Hey, I've got a 50-year-old husband. I'm still stepping on Legos, okay?
That's amazing. So it was like cool. Instead of doing like the regular pit, we would make a bed. So if you look at the back cover, there's actually a pillow at the end of it, you know, and you've got all the Legos at the bottom. So yeah, a lot of fun. Yeah. Oh my gosh, so much fun.
That is awesome.
You know, where it was a good time. And then you've got the tower in the back if you're a fan of playing the towers.
Oh yeah.
You know, we almost put something going across the moon, but I thought that might be too on the nose, you know, so I was like, I'll leave that alone. But yeah, so, you know, we've got that going on right now. We've got, you know, the listener coming out in the next quarter this year. We've got another listener coming out, which is, I think that's February, if I'm not mistaken. That's what we're doing for the listeners, February. We've got a trade paperback coming out for the listener before long. You know, and then we're back to BGD in January. So, you know, we put out a book it's about 6 weeks is how it averages, because the way that Kickstarter puts things out. So because our books are done, so, you know, hey, look, there's an ad, bid with confidence or back with confidence because our shit's finished whenever.
Well, that's what she does.
Yeah, I always make sure all my books are. But the thing is that you took it a step further. Your books are printed already.
So what I do is I pay myself back. Is how the shit thing is when, like you mentioned earlier, it's a real job, and that people don't understand how real a job it is. Okay, my issues range between $4,000 and $6,000 for production per issue, and that's a month. All right. So when people go, oh yeah, you know, you did pretty good here and there. How do you write that? How do you say this without being, Meredith knows where I'm going. How do you go forward with a conversation where you're not trying to sound cocky, but at the same time, in 8 months, we've started to break even.
Right. Yeah.
And I know people that have.
You're investing. You're investing. Basically, you are investing in your product.
Absolutely.
You have books on hand. You don't have to worry about like, hey, all I have to do is load up the car when I'm going to a convention. You know, you've got all your titles and stuff like that. So, you know, and a lot of people, I think I think a lot of people, for the most part, will look at a Kickstarter as a way to fund the art and stuff. And I'm learning from Daphne and from Dustin here, like, hey, if I'm going to take myself seriously as a comic book creator or any independent creation project that I want to do, I have to invest my time, my energy, my money into this to make it happen, so that you have that full-on presentation that you can come out and not worry about those updates. You know, it's like worrying about, hey, when can I really get this out? Right. You know, because life stuff happens, you know. And so I love the idea that you have your print-ready files as soon as the funds are released. It's like, hey, these are going to the printer. Daphne has the benefit of being able to art and write.
Right,
you know, like us mere mortals.
For issue 3, which is, you know, in the campaign right now, the book is done. Right. Usually, what I do, like this is my color proof that I've already gone through and fixed up the file from it. Usually, what I do is I have the proof in hand. As you know, as my campaign is going. It's just that this time around, what I'm doing is that I'm 6 pages away from finishing issue 4.
Right.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get issue 3, issue 4, and my volume 1 trade paperback proofed at the same time. So I'm ready for next year.
Absolutely. I think that's
and I love that because you're doing it's that investment in your product, and you know where it's going. It's like I love that you guys have this roadmap of creativity, and because you're taking it seriously as a business. In the sense that a lot of people, again, you know, what I was saying before with Kickstarter, I think they use that as a lot of people will come in thinking, oh, I'm going to make all this money.
Yeah.
And then they don't.
Right.
or if they, and I mean, there's so many Kickstarters that have failed. And,
Absolutely.
as you know, as well as I do, it's all or nothing on Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, so now they're looking at this, where they've tried to market themselves as best as possible. They go out there, and it's like, did that kill the dream? Are we ever going to see them again? Are they going to try? Or were they looking at this as a way of funding a dream project? It didn't make it. You have people who come out and they say, well, I'm going to put together, I want a $20,000 goal.
Right.
I think
But
that's
you never backed a campaign. You never created a campaign. And so you're coming out,
and then
people
not only
virtually
that,
don't-
it's like, and not only that, they never make it past issue 1. So a lot of people, especially, when you're dealing with crowdfunding, where you're talking about a lot of projects you've never heard of, there's a lot of pressure to convince people that, yes, this is going to be more than just, this is going to exist beyond issue 1.
Absolutely.
In fact, it's like I always make it a point in my campaign to show that I'm 7 issues deep.
Right.
And that the entire series is going to be 15 issues. And like I said, I'm getting the books proofed as far in advance as possible so that, I can put out these campaigns with confidence, and people can have confidence in me that I can deliver these books. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that I've worked retail for too long. So, so that customer service thing is like really important.
I think that's
to
the
me
secret sauce,
this.
Daphne.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think working retail is the secret sauce to a lot of this, because we understand the hustle. We know the customer service aspect of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're owning a comic shop. It was like, now I have an idea of generally what people are going to buy, what people aren't going to buy, what people like. But that's the thing about shows, though, like I mentioned earlier. It's finding places that you vibe with the locale, right? Like right now, we've got Baltimore coming up. I'm not doing a table at Baltimore, but I'm going to Baltimore to just, be there, see some people, give some books out, rub some elbows. You know what I mean? It's a very in your face industry, I find, and that goes a long way with buyers. If you're willing to go to another state, or halfway across the country, or even all the way across the country, to meet people. We had fans fly from Dubai to buy our books when we were in Orlando at MegaCon. It's very telling. Okay. Like if you go to a show and you're like, hey, I've been doing this 30 years almost. We're going to go to a show. How many fans are we going to see at this show? And then you start going, is it worth me going halfway across the country, or do I sell more books at home? This is another one of those metrics types of things that we get into when you get further and further in this industry that I'm finding. It's like, hey, look, I make enough money on, Indiegogo or Kickstarter, or, through Facebook or through the website or whatever else. You know what I mean? We're selling to fans. But at the same time, do you drop the $500 to $1,000 to go across the country and meet folks and see them? Yeah, you do. You make the time, because these people are the ones that are going to be your ride or die fans, the ones that you show up to see. Like I had a guy, we're not going to name names, really nice guy, and he's bought all my books. Okay, he will not buy BGD, all right, but he'll buy all of Greed, he'll buy all the Listener, and what he normally does is he gets a sketch cover by one of the artists on the campaign. All right. So, which is really cool to me, because the artist, I give all the money from that to the artist, with the exception of shipping and what I paid for the blank. You know what I mean? So that being said, his birthday came up and I sent him one of every cover for both those books. I signed all of them. You know what I mean? Because you're trying to, as much as you're trying to build rapport with this industry, you're trying to build rapport with the people in it.
Yeah.
And then, bringing up retail, I think this is the best piece of advice I could give anybody coming into this industry. And I get that I'm still a new cat, but I'm a really bright fucking new cat. So pay attention. You're selling yourself.
Yeah.
You're selling yourself all day long. When we owned a shop, if you came in the shop, you were made to feel like you belonged there. Race, creed, gender didn't matter. You were made to feel like you belonged. That was one of the things that we heard so much, that women, my wife would go into a shop and feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But when you came into ours, you'd feel comfortable. You were talked to, you were helped, you were associated with. And that goes a long way in this industry, period. So when they come to your book and they ask questions, answer the goddamn questions. Be polite to people. Show them that you give a shit about them as much as you want them to give a shit about you.
Right.
So congratulations on joining the club of Project We Love. I did that. Was really excited about it. My second book out, I popped that out, and it blew my mind, right?
Yeah.
Congratulations. But that goes hand in hand with this. Someone there saw your book and liked your book. Okay? That's how that works. So I've been in rooms and chats with dudes that have been doing this for so many more years than me and have not gotten it. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting when you see it, because you're very proud of it. So congratulations.
Yeah.
on your
Thank
stuff.
you. Look,
I
Nita
wish
and
I had a
Meredith,
I wish I had a
they know how.
screenshot. I do. I wish I had a screenshot of your face when you got that email.
Oh my God. Yeah. Because it popped up on my phone and I wasn't really paying attention. And I'm going, wait, what? I mean, because they know that I've been gunning for a project we love and trying to figure out like what it takes. And then it's like right when I'm not looking, it happens. But it's like, but in the end though, it's like the whole, as much as I wanted a project we love, I mean, in the end though, I'm putting out the book that I love.
Absolutely. And like I said,
that's the thing. So even without a project we love label, this is a project I love and I'm doing for me. And it's like, and the fact that there's 63 backers who love my stuff, is icing on the cake.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
being, and then it's like, and then having a project we love on top of it is just like, I was euphoric yesterday because
you should be.
It's all coming together.
Absolutely. But there's that feeling, right? That feeling is so epic.
Yeah.
I can't begin to describe, and not the projects we love, that's cool, but the feeling that you get when you start seeing people vibe. Like, my first goal, absolutely. My first goal was $2,400, my very first project. And I made $2,600, my very first project. No one knew who I was or anything with the listener, first project. Turned around and put out book 2, made about the same amount of money book 2, right? Greed comes out, and Greed did like $200, $300 more with like 10 backers more than the listener had. And it blew my mind, right? It was like, okay, cool, look. So then we go into issue 3 of the listener. Issue 3 does about the same as Greed did, okay? Then we put out BGD, and BGD was almost triple what we normally do. You know what I mean? At backers and funds. So it was like, fuck, man, 8 months. We're starting to get even. You know what I mean? Let's see if we can keep pushing this momentum. And then I realized that as much as what I do is different, I have to, Chuck Pino said it once to me, he was like, how are you going to continue to up your game? Right. You're constantly one-upping yourself. And eventually it's going to be impossible to one-up yourself. And I laughed at him because he's my friend and I like him a lot. But I was like, that's a defeatist way of viewing it. If I'm not constantly growing, it's like a shark, okay?
Yeah.
Shark. Yeah. So if a shark stops swimming, there's no more water going through their gills, they die.
We're creatives. We always find something.
Yeah, it's got to be better. You know what I mean?
Something that we can improve
right.
on.
So I give you Dinosaur Boobs, book 1 of BGD. You get Dinosaur Dick, book 2. You know what I mean? So there's going to be there's always going to be the wow factor. You have to. I quote certain things in book 1 and book 2 and book 3 because I just finished the script for book 3. So it's like, not going to tell you what I'm quoting, but there's quotes. And if you enjoy stuff, and it's a telltale sign that you'll enjoy what the rest of my books are. You know what I mean? If you enjoy this, you're going to enjoy this. Same thing with the listener. If you read the listener, like I said, I mentioned, I have fans that won't pick up BGD. You know what I mean? And that's fine. But I'll say this to those fans, and I've said it to a couple of them in person, it's my writing still. If you enjoy my writing, you'll enjoy the book. I get that you assume because the covers, there's so many nudes that it's just porn. I get it. I promise. But it's not. It's so much more. It's so much more. It's as much porn as a rated R movie on HBO.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And but you'll get the pigeonhole. When you throw the mature title on there, you get the pigeonhole of, hey, look, do we want to pick it up? Do we know if it's okay? I mean, I'm not trying to get to go handle your business in the bathroom with one of my books. That's not the case.
I have books for that. I have specific books for that.
There you go. I haven't popped that cherry just yet, so you know what I mean? I've got a whole lot on my plate right now. I have not gotten to that, but we'll see one of these days. But like it becomes this BGD is almost a euphoric experience for me because, like I said, I was a huge fan of Ninja Turtles. I was a huge fan of all these things, and to be able to make my own, like, because right now I look at and I'll toot my own horn, and it's Meredith and Nita's fault that I've been able to do that in the past couple weeks, is because I've raised my own confidence and my own value in myself and what I've created. My books will stand with anybody's, especially BGD. You can put BGD up next to anybody in this indie industry right now. The art's there, the story's there, the covers are there. I mean, I'll play the game, and that's not to say that I'm not still in awe by other people's books, because I am. I'm absolutely in awe by my peers, how talented they all are. But I'm not going to be cowed anymore. When I first came into this industry, I was very shy about it. I was very, going to be quiet. I just need to get my books out. I don't need to be seen. And I told Nita and Meredith about a month ago, I'm going to be fucking loud from here on out. And it's a very interesting feeling. It's very different.
Meredith keeps telling me nobody loves your project more than you do.
Right. And the thing is, we all constantly deal with like that imposter syndrome. Like, why am I here? What am I doing? Is this worthy? Is this going to get an audience and stuff like that? And at the end of the day, I love what Daphne said earlier. It's like, you're writing for you. You are unapologetically creating this thing that you love. And, the audience, the backers and things like that, as much as we appreciate them, it's like part of the creative process is get out of my head.
For sure.
Exactly.
On paper, and so I think that's really important to recognize, like the why. Motivation is everything to me. What motivates us to get out of bed and do the things that we do, because most days, and until we get a projects we love or something like that, it just feels like it is an ungrateful bitch to work on this, right? I mean, it's terrible. And then so when you get that bit of recognition, it's just like, oh my gosh, it's humbling, right? It's humbling, but it's like, okay, it just it's an affirmation. I think it's like, okay, I'm finally getting recognized for the thing that I love, right. And I would say to anybody who's listening, it's like, don't be apologetic for the things that you create.
Absolutely not.
You are not going to reach everybody.
That was a very hard hurdle for me to jump when I was putting together issue 1, when I finally made that decision to do Ego Raven as a legit comic, not just some like bullshit online hobby that I was just messing around with from time to time. Like right. It's like, okay, nose to the grindstone type of thing. And it really took me a bit to kind of like, it's like, you know what? It's like, I'll go toe to toe with anybody. It's like, it really took me a bit, because it's like, now it's like, look, this is out there, and like I said, even without the project we love, it's like, I will fight you over my book.
Right.
It's like, I will fight you.
You have to have that, because if you don't have that, no one else is going to have it for you.
Right. Yeah.
Real quick, guys, I see that we have another guest, the human narcotic. How are you?
I just popped in to see what you people were doing.
Oh, it's
I
that
seen
guy.
Yeah, it's
What's
just
the Bond?
just Mr. Grant popping in. I was playing. I was enjoying myself. Then I got a message, and I said, "Let me pop over
Right.
to Geekgasm and see what's going on." I hear there's smut talking.
Smut.
We're intellectually smut talking.
That's fair. I've tried to keep it intellectual. It's
We're
very
talking
difficult.
about furries.
Yeah.
So I just wanted. I promised you, Lola, that I would bring it up, but I couldn't find the article.
Uh-oh.
This
But
was our other question I was trying to get together.
yeah, so the Supreme Court, they keep making rules. That's their job stuff. But they had said, and they've recently come down and said that possession, as well as the manufacture of art depicting people who could be considered, not of age, engage in activities that could be, considered adult. They said it was illegal. You can't do that.
I would have to look that up because one, it depends on which Supreme Court. Because that's the thing, because it's like Supreme Court doesn't mean federal Supreme Court, because it
Right.
can also mean state legislature Supreme Court as well.
Right, and now they're fighting about it. They're fighting about it.
Right,
Now.
they're fighting about it, and it's like, and it's like, by the way, that's the real slippery slope to fascism. By the way. It's like when they start trying to control lines on paper, there's a reason why with actual fascist dictatorships, the first people they go after are artists. Because the term degenerate was popularized by the Nazis. This is not hyperbole. To control and destroy the lives of artists. For
sure. Well, didn't we just have a movie that came out about that where they were burning, it was a novel. And they made it into a movie where they were burning art and books and
and it just raises this discourse raises my hackles. Like I said, we were inadvertently involved with an actual. I mean, this retailer got his life destroyed over a book that we worked on because it was just an easy target.
Well, low-hanging fruit's always going to be what they reach for. The big issue is this. We need to quit. So I get where you're coming from, okay? I understand. I also understand with it as a father, okay? As a father of an 11-year-old girl, I get where the direction should be, okay? I get where it should be. It should be directed, the energy, okay? I get the energy, but it should be directed at certain things. You can't blanket statement things. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It has to be directed at actual real people doing real things to other real people that have real consequences. Lines on paper is just an easier target.
I don't, this is one of those where I am, as I said, a father. I look at things a little bit more biased, so like right now, the big one big issue right now with art and manga in Japan and stuff like that is I'm a huge manga fan. I'm a huge anime fan, but even me as an ecchi fan as well, I flirt with the concept.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Once you start going, there are certain things that are even beyond me that I won't support. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because once you start supporting pedophilia, it becomes a very different thing altogether. You know what I mean? Even if it's lines on paper, if we're supporting the action, it's just like if you watch what is it? Hatsune Miku. Everybody likes the fact that she's on stage and she's live and she's doing this, but it's a projection, right? Now that
she's a hologram, she doesn't exist.
Absolutely. So, but they have a TV show coming out where people are behind the stage acting out as a green screen with a character that's singing and dancing and so on and so forth. There are a lot of people that would take advantage of these situations, including lines on paper, to push a certain agenda. You know what I mean? And the scary thing is the artists that are not pushing that agenda, they're just putting art on paper, are getting assaulted at the same time as the people that are pushing the agenda. And that's where that's what I mentioned earlier, where 30 years ago, putting out something that was quote unquote furry was a faux pas, right? Like if there was a grown dude that was trying to mess around with my kid, I'd fucking kill him. You know what I mean? There's not a
well here's the way I look at it, because here's the way I look at it. And honestly, it's like the longer this discourse goes, the more like First Amendment absolutist I'm becoming.
right.
So speaking of furry fandom, all the people that we knew back in the past who are now in prison for legit distribution of child porn, none of them did underage artwork.
Right.
You know, so it's like the artwork is just a red herring. You know, it's like that's the thing. So it's like, you know, it's like there wasn't a child protection organization that literally had to put out an announcement to tell people to stop reporting artists for drawing to them, because they had wasted over $100,000 in funds because they have to investigate everybody.
Right.
And they found that they were wasting all this money because people were bitching about art they didn't like, as opposed to using that money to help actual exploited children. So it's like, yeah, like I understand that it's like, yeah, it's like there's artwork out there I don't like. You know, there's artwork out there that, yeah, I do wish didn't exist. But at the same time, it's like, we have to really focus on real people doing real things, because or else we'll find ourselves getting distracted by the imaginary. And the thing is, though, is like anybody who really, really wants to harm you, they're going to use anything in their power to exploit you. You know, whether it is, you know, an anime or, you know, passages from Lolita, or just, they're going to use whatever it takes to exploit you, you know, Grand Theft Auto, you know? So the thing is, we really, really have to focus our energy on real, like to not be distracted by calls on controlling art and controlling the creative process and controlling artists, and really focus on real people doing real harm to real people. But the thing is, though, that's the hard part, holding real people accountable for their stuff. So it's just a lot easier to blame a pornographer.
Well, the good news is I was gonna say the good news is the good news is that you know I keep noticing they use the word artist, which means that, you know, by qualification standard, 80% of the indie community is totally clear. Don't worry, they're only looking for artists. They're not looking for you hat.
See,
you know,
and I just want to say that what happened to personal responsibility? What happened to, you know, I love when Daphne says curate your experience. You know, if you don't like something, guess what? You're not going to buy it. But you are actually expending energy to go out there and troll people. You're, you know, or tear them down, or say, you know, your stuff is crap. It's like, well, okay, my stuff is crap. Go make your own, you know? And we cannot cater to everybody.
Right.
We, you know, when I write, it's for me. It's to get the voices out of my head. You know, and it's for my enjoyment. And it was a big step for me to release any of my words into the public realm, you know, and it was like, hell, yeah, why not? You know, what's it going to hurt? And there have been plenty of times when I've seen artwork and stories and things like that I just did not like. Hey, I'm not a killer of dreams. You go do you, you know, and I do curate. And it's like, as long as you're not harming anybody, as long as you're not doing anything illegal, not my circus, not my monkeys, don't care.
Also, the thing is too is that this type of thing never stops.
It never stops.
Pornographers.
It's always another.
There's always the next thing. It's like, look, it's like my family on both sides spent 40 plus years under actual fascist regimes. My grandfather spent 3 years in a concentration camp. And it took him a long time to acclimate being out of there. And what happened, and there was one day where a neighbor warned him that another neighbor had ratted him out again to whatever the fascist police was, and that he was going to get raided. And him and my grandmother spent the entire day burning every book in the house, so that there was nothing there when they finally showed up. And it wasn't because he had a collection of hentai in his house. So that's the thing. It doesn't stop. It's the easy target that everyone can say, oh, well, they're doing guru, they're doing yoi, it's like, that's icky, it's like, oh yeah, go after them. But it never stops there. We have, banned, we have lists of banned books for a reason. And it's not, and it's like, you're not seeing Legend of the Overfiend on there. It's like, and that's the thing. It doesn't stop. We're just really easy targets. So it's like, so it's like, I take these kind of things really, really personally because of that. Because imagine having to spend your day burning all your books because you don't know why you're being raided. It could be anything, so that's like a thought that just saying the story again horrifies me every time I say it. So it's like so it's like, yes, protect the children, but that's what you're supposed to do, but not at the expense of everything else.
Well, I think that there's so few people that are actually trying to draw pedophilia that the energy could be served elsewhere. You know what I mean? Because most people are going to be like, well, that's not great. You know what I mean? We're not trying to pay attention to that. You know what I mean? So I think the issue is, though, that it's a lump, right? That's what I meant when I said that it was different 30 years ago. Because it's a lump. It doesn't matter if that's what you're doing and people don't understand it. They're immediately going, oh, well, people that do furries are into that, or they're into this.
For the longest time.
You know what I mean? And that's the issue, because look, man, I draw dinosaur boobs all day, but I'm not doing that. You know what I mean? That don't lump me in with that particular subject.
Oh, look, you haven't. It's like, look, it's like, I remember all those years in furry fandom where people just automatically assumed I was into bestiality because of my furry art. And it's like, holy shit, dude, how did you make that jump?
Right. That's the problem. Like, and I think that, like you mentioned earlier, I think that the amount of people is so small that are into. And to be fair, the majority, like I worked for, before I got into this, before I opened a comic shop, I worked for a private police force, and I dealt with deportation and I dealt with slave labor. You know what I mean? And it was not great. It was not great. The things that I saw, the things that we dealt with, the things that we took care of. But we have it so it's nowhere near as bad here as it is in other places. So it's that line of thinking. Okay, you have to quit equating one with the other. Just because I like this doesn't make me a pervert. I'm real sorry.
Look, what I mean? Just spent the morning listening to serial killer podcasts. It doesn't make me the next Ted Bundy.
Absolutely. Well, that's that argument right there is the one that we've had forever now. Mm-hmm. Hey, look, video games are going to make you a killer.
Right.
Yeah, not
Grand Theft Auto. Right. I mean? Yeah. Violent movies.
It's how you're raised. It's how your familial life is. And that's why when we were kids, it's not that way now. But when we were kids, our parents were judged on our actions, right? They were looked at by how we were raised, how we acted. And I feel like that goes hand in hand with society now. We have to quit judging the mass because of the few. It's a very telling thing when you attack an artist. I mean, look, man, I have nudes all over my body. But if you ask me why, I'll tell you the fact that I did it because I have an 11-year-old daughter and I'm trying to show her how proud she should be to be a woman, and how I dealt with a really shitty mayor in the state. And there's a lot of things, you know what I mean? But none of them are doing lewd acts. They're poses. We've been carving and painting nudes for thousands of years. You know what I mean? Get off the high horse when it comes to things like that. We have got to understand that we as a people, if we can move past certain things, we can move past other things. It's just getting people educated. It's educating individuals that have grown up in a certain societal hierarchy that don't know how to get past certain things. You know how hard it was for me not to fucking blast people after we just found all those bodies of the native children?
Yeah.
Like it was the hardest thing in the world for me not to come out fucking swinging, and my mom's like, just nothing you can do about it. Fight it in your own way. Fight it in your own way. You know what I mean? Because The Listener is one of the few books with a native main character right now that has a real history in this country. You know what I mean? So it's like, I have to show, it's almost like be the better person, right? It's like, educate in small ways, because no one likes to be educated anymore. So it's like, let me feed you, baby bird type of deal. Let me give you a little dose at a time. Because if you ever equate my friends or artists that I work with to something that would insult me or make me sick, I take it very personally. They're my friends. I don't bring on people that I don't trust, so it's like, hey, look, man, I know my buddy's not into little kids. You need to get the fuck off the shit. You know what I mean? And when it comes to paper and pencil, they've said it forever that the pen is mightier than the sword. Okay. So that's why artists are always subjugated. That's why artists are always pushed first, but at the same time, if we police ourselves as a whole, hey, look, maybe that's not a good idea. Hey, maybe that's not great. You should do this though. This is a great idea. You're killing that. You know what I mean? Do that, push each other, lift each other, make sure that we're not getting stuck with things that are going to make us look bad or hurt people. Be positive. It's a world that we can go out and be happy. All of us, we really can. We don't have to be like, that's why I look at things so analytically, because it's like, if I put my heart into it, then I'm invested in a different way. Then it's things that I could have a conversation with turn into an argument or a fight with somebody that is not knowledgeable enough to stand on the podium with me to have the conversation, so it's always analytical. Hey, man, these numbers say this, 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 and this. All right. We haven't done anything wrong. Get the fuck off my porch. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot to it. And I feel like with this particular thing, it's a great concept for a class. It's a great concept for a question because it's a gray area. It really is. We want to defend ourselves. We want to. But at the same time, it's like the guys that are like, oh my God, hey, look, we support this, 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 and this, but we're reaping the benefits for the same shit we say we're supporting. My sister and I are 20% Navajo. We get nothing from this country. We ask nothing from this country because we don't believe that we've gone through the issues to deserve it. That's just us. That's a personal thing. You know what I'm saying? There are plenty of people out there that deserve more and get more and whatever else. We're eligible for things, but neither of us have done it because of the fact everybody in our country fought, or in our family fought for this country. Not always willingly for sure, but they fought. We've had family members die of Agent Orange, of gangrene, and it's like, cool, look, I don't hate the military at all. I hate the fact that you put my people on reservations and it took us dying in our family to not be put on a reservation. You know what I mean? So there are certain things that we can stand up and we can fight and we can be like, meh. And then there's certain things that we can police ourselves. Hey, look, are you going to go hit that cop because he's done something you don't like or said something he doesn't like, probably not a good idea. Please don't do that. You know what I mean? Just like as a writer, I almost put out a cover for the listener because I was angry. I was angry and I was going to put it out. And I had a buddy that was like, man, maybe not. You know, maybe you don't give the baby birds all the truth yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't give them all the truth. Give them a little bit. So I think it's upon ourselves to help each other and keep ourselves on the right path, because our peers are the only people that are there and see things. You know, I've got friends right now that are doing really well and are scared to continue. They don't realize how well they're doing, you know? So it's like, hey, let me help you. Let me talk you off the edge of this because you're really talented. You're doing great things. Don't stop, you know? And that goes hand in hand with this, you know, because it's like, cool, look, man, we can't let them get us. They can't put us down. What are they going to do? They're going to start the Third fucking Reich again? You know, they can't. We live in a world now where, try as they may, it's too big. The world is too big. You're not going to stop art. I literally went toe-to-toe with the mayor over a de Balzac statue years ago, and I wasn't going to take it out just because it's a nude male statue that was a little overweight and you didn't care for it. Sorry about your luck. It's been around longer than your entire family line. You know what I mean? So whatever. You know, we can't look at things like that.
I have a question. Two questions. Earlier, you said, Dustin, that you had worked as an investigator with
I worked for a private police force. I was a manager for a private police force.
Like, see, that's cool. I like that. Cool about that is it deportation and the slave labor. I just want to know, how long were you undercover at IDW and Vertigo?
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. Oh, no, a little bit. I didn't have enough time to change anything. You know what I mean? But you know, I would have liked to.
I think he might have spent more time at Tyson Foods.
I'm gonna get some angry emails about that joke in the morning.
It was a good one, though. It was a good one. No, I worked on the port, and it was a lot of checking containers and stuff like that is what I did. And it was terrifying, some of the things that we would see and the way that people were jammed into those things and stuff. So I have a lot of respect for people that are trying to better themselves in every way, shape, or form, no matter how hard it is. That's why I say we have to police each other, because we have to help each other. You know what I mean? It's hard. Sometimes it's really hard not to stand up and be like, I'm mad. I'm real angry right now. But as people, it serves us better to come at a situation with knowledge versus rage, because now we can be like, hey, look, you put us down, you put us down, you put us down. Here's all of it. Nowadays, it's all in text messages. It's all in emails. It's all in anything that you can find to save. You know, if someone comes at you, a publisher comes at you, an artist comes at you, a writer comes at you, all this stuff is documented now. You know, like I've seen in the past year, dudes that don't pay artists. I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen dudes that don't pay writers. It sucks. You know, I've had people that run to me and go, hey, look, I need a job because I didn't get paid. You know what I mean? Dustin, can you help me? Can you do this? And it's a very, it's sad. It's very sad to see that with people and to hear that with your peers, you know? And I think that, like I said, we have to police each other because we're the only ones that can change perception. If we show you that this isn't bad anymore, it's not bad. You know, it's like the whole fake it till you make it thing, right? You know, Lola, where'd the indie princess thing come from?
It was given to me.
By who?
My peers.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not supposed to give yourself your own nickname. That's
right.
No. I got it because I do a lot in the industry.
For sure, but a person gave you that title, and then another person heard them call you that, so they called you that, and another person heard you called that, so they called you that. That's how this happens. If we go, hey, look, you know, anime is cool. It's been cool since we were kids in the 90s. You know, now it's cool all over the world, and it's a big deal. It's just a step-by-step process. You know what I'm saying? You can talk about fascism. You can talk about whatever you want. And we're always going to live with degrees of it. It's always going to heat back up. It's always going to get shitty. You know what I mean? But there are certain topics that we as creators have to go, yeah, that's even for us.
Yeah.
It's a faux pas. You know what I mean? Because now I can go, look, man, I can't work with you because you're on the no fucking fly list. You know what I mean? And you know what? You know who makes the list and makes it real? And this is the most important part, Varian. We make the fucking list. We make it. They don't have the power to make that list. We say what's wrong. As a community, artists get to choose what's right and what's wrong. And it doesn't matter what they say, because none of these things are going to pass, because there's always going to be someone that has some kind of in with art. You know, they can't just go, oh man, that guy's got a tattoo, get him the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? That's not the way the world works. So we have to continue to show people that we aren't perverts. We aren't freaks. There's nothing wrong with us. And we can show you that
I'd
we
like to differ on that.
well,
There's definitely something wrong with artists and creators.
Well, we all have certain degrees of mental illness, you know, but that's neither here nor there.
It should also be noted that when it comes to people calling Lola the Indie Princess, that's the nice name they call her.
No, okay, you know, but it's that's like the whole that's a societal norm though. If we start doing something, and like let's say the whole world decides they don't want Taco Bell anymore. You know what I mean?
Taco Bell.
Okay, well, yeah, go with me. Fucking McDonald's or Burger King, something. You know what I mean? It's like, if we as a people decide, like, cancel culture is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
But if we could push cancel culture in a positive direction, like if we could lead these misled fuckers into the what's bad area, you know what I mean? It's a youthful energy that those of us that are getting up there, we don't have like they have to go at it anymore. You know what I mean? It's just like saying picketing against certain things, you know, put them in the right direction, not the bullshit shit that the media says they should hate, you know, put them in the right place, give them what's right, you know, teach them a little bit, just a nugget of knowledge. Like I said, Baby Bird doesn't want a lot of food. Just give them just a little bit of knowledge to what they can understand is not right. You know what I mean? If you in your heart of hearts knows that you don't want it, it's probably not good for other people. You know, so if we go, hey, look, this is bad. You fuckers are trying to take things from us. This isn't great, you know. Whereas I dealt with a moral conundrum of telling people they had to leave this country when they were fleeing for their better. You know what I mean? So I've sat there and I've watched people cry. I've watched people hold their loved ones and tell them they had to do something that was maybe not beneficial for them. You know what I mean? But at the same time, those same boats had people on them that were stolen from their homes in this country to take to other countries. So I got a little like, I don't know. My heart got a little harder dealing with that kind of thing, you know, because I get that you want to come here and be safe, but just as much as you want to come here and be safe, some of you people are trading yourselves for people that are here. You know what I mean? And it was hard. It was a hard thing. So coming into comics was not supposed to be hard like that. So I don't have these conversations. They're no fun. But it's literally like, if you're trying to educate people, be honest. Hey, look, this is bad. We know this is bad. This is okay. You don't get to tell us what's right and wrong. We decide what's right and wrong. Because if I draw a nude figure and I tattoo a nude figure on my body, I've tattooed a nude figure on my body. It was my decision. It's my body. I made it. Okay. It's not a child. It's a grown folk, but it's my body. You know what I mean? And I think that's the issue is there's people that are so biased. They make decisions where they have no idea what they're even beginning to talk about.
Yeah, that's
you know, tattooed guys, man, till about 15 years ago, we were assholes. We were pieces of shit.
Oh, it's like, no, what was funny is like we just recently came back from Walt Disney World, where for the longest time it was against from the very beginning, it was against policy to have visible tattoos. And this was the first time where they actually allowed cast members to have visible tattoos, and it was kind of weird seeing it because everyone was supposed to be all, you know, clean cut and stuff, and here I am looking at cast members and now they didn't have to cover up anymore,
right?
You know, because there just comes a time, there just comes a point where it's like, You're just outnumbered.
No, I refuse to believe it. I refuse to believe it. Disney World was one of the last awesome places old blue dog like myself could go to
Well, also,
enjoy.
it's like, because in the end, it was easier to do that than to give everybody raises. So at least
For
give
sure.
everybody, the illusion of more freedom at the
No.
workplace than
What?
giving them an actual livable wage. But that's a completely different conversation.
Wait, see,
People are listening to Geekgasm expecting dick jokes, and here we're having an actual
This is-
CNN-style conversation about
I
art
think
and
pretty good
fascism.
episode.
And,
this is how it starts. This is how it starts. Tattooed people. The next thing you know, I'm not getting followed around the park to find out if I'm gonna do anything. Okay? I like getting followed around. It makes me feel safe.
You are still
Makes
being
me feel
followed
safe.
around. You are still being followed around. Don't worry about that. That's
See?
still happening.
Yeah, it ain't changed that much. Water still walk.
Disney as a corporation still has a global anti-terrorism task force. So yeah, you're still being followed around. So don't worry about that.
You can have what you want on your skin. You just can't have my skin and work there. Ain't that about a bitch? Anyway,
On that note, we are approaching the 2-hour mark, guys.
A record.
Yeah.
It's been fun. Like, I've had a great time. I hope I haven't been too serious. I've enjoyed the conversation. It's been a lot of fun. It's been very intellectual, which is great.
Which is unusual for this show, just to tell you.
Well, I mean, we did talk about furries and everything.
Yeah.
I came on to talk about dinosaur boobs and little green
Right,
men.
exactly.
You know what I mean? That was my
Uh-huh.
that was my stick anyway. It's interesting you say that they can go around with tattoos now, because when we first started, I was 25, or no, I was 23 when I got hired in Jacksonville, and when I started, you had to have clean shaven. You were clean shaven all the time. Even though we were plain clothes and stuff like that, you still had to be clean shaven. The hair had to be cut short, but that to me, by the time I left, it was changed. But to me, was a tell for what you were. You know what I mean? We were all either private security, police, private police, or contracted military. And we all look it. You know what I'm saying? So
your shoes give it away.
Yeah, absolutely.
Your shoes give it away.
That's why I started wearing Doc Martens. You know what I mean? But whatever. But yeah, I've had a lot of fun, guys. It's been a pleasure. Super, super cool hanging out. I am
always welcome
excited.
back.
I appreciate that. I'm super excited to see where you guys go with Eagle Raven and stuff.
Thank you.
I'm also really excited for you guys to see what Meredith's got going on. I'm not going to tell you what Meredith's got going on, but I'm excited for you to see it. I'm also excited to hear more about this school project. I can't wait to see how our answers were received.
Yeah, really.
You know what I mean? By this professor. Because the last time I had a professor, he hit me in the fucking face with a rubber cow. Yeah, he's a fucking twat. But yeah, no. So it was double wides with stadium seating in the double wides, and I happened to be young, like way younger than I probably should have been for that class, and I had to drive 2 hours every morning. So I had to leave at 4:00 to be there at 6. And one morning I was just not there. Like, I was literally, falling out, like trying to sit like this. So at least I looked intelligent. Right. And that fucking cow hit me right in the goddamn forehead.
I'm glad I don't have to see my professors in person.
There you go. I mean, that's a win, right?
Yeah.
I like the classroom. It just, I don't know, 2-hour drive fucking sucked. But and like I said, oh my God, I just turned 17.
Mm.
Yeah, just turned 17 in college, and I was like, fuck, this shit's bananas. Everybody's here older than me and shit, and yeah, it wasn't great. Glad for the education though.
Where can everyone find you, Dustin?
Holy fuck, I'm everywhere. But
don't take my line.
Yeah. No, I'm easy. That's my line. I'm fucking easy.
Yeah,
so,
you can be easy. I'm not.
I'm easy. So, But there's a link tree for me somewhere. Needed
There's a link
Meredith.
tree.
There's always a
Dustin
link
Burnell.
That's right. There you go.
Dustin Burnell.
The cool thing is you just have to look up my name. That's how goddamn easy it is. And everything shows up. You know what I mean? Just you just got to look up my name. You guys can find us on Indiegogo right now with Greed. Me, Meredith, and Nita. We're having a lot of fun with that. We've also got Greed issue 2 coming out next month. So we've got that coming up. Prepare to start seeing that in the next few weeks. Lots of great people on there. Great people, including Chuck Pinot, Meredith, and Nita, making sure I'm behaving and doing what I'm supposed to do, which is difficult from what I gather. At least my wife says it's difficult, but I try. So, yeah, man, I'm fucking here, there, everywhere, and most places in between. Apparently, I hang out with furries, so, I'm just about everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Meredith.
Hey, you guys, you can find me at ragenabc.com or the link tree, ragenabc. And if you're at all interested, I've got my book, The Compendium of Dread, Volume 1. I've got hard copies, limited edition. This is the Kickstarter edition, which has 8 rough pages of a comic book that should be coming out, I'm thinking sometime next year, because I have to pay for art, okay? I don't have the skills like Daphne, okay? So I got to hustle and pay for my artist. That's why it's taking so long. But, yep, so you can get that. Follow me everywhere at MareJ99, MEREJ99. And, yeah, just like Dustin said, I'm everywhere. Google me. Daphne.
Oh, well, you can head over to my main portfolio site at egoworks.com, EGOWORKS, where you can find links to all of my galleries and social media. Everything's there. But I mostly post to Facebook if you are into seeing sketches and current work in progress. And you can all at egoworks.com, you can also read the first 5 issues of Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn in its original black and white format. But if you prefer your fantasy to be more of like a Lord of the Rings type adventure, you can follow the links to talltalesonline.com and read the first 20 issues of Tall Tales for free. And as always, don't forget to check out my Kickstarter for Ego Raven, Heir of the First Unicorn issues 1, 2, and 3 on Kickstarter right now, because take a shot every time I say Kickstarter. And yeah, it's like we're doing gangbusters. I think this might actually be my first campaign that breaks 5K. So help me make that a reality. So thank you very much.
And as our conversation earlier, if you wanted to see furries.
Oh, yes. And if you want to see especially naked porny furries, you can also find the link. Yeah, you can also follow the link at EgoWorks, where you can go to my House of Bob gallery, exclusive, uncensored on Fur Affinity.
Awesome. And Mr. Human Narcotic.
Yeah. Oh, you guys want to see my ceiling? Okay.
Oh, no.
There's my ceiling.
Please don't show the bedroom.
Yeah, there's my ceiling.
You can show them the turtle. That's about it.
No, all they can see is the ceiling. That's all I get to see. Anyway. Yeah, my name is Varian Grant. Find me on social media. KYD_V on Twitter. Check out my publishing company, Last Call Comics, lastcallcomics.com, for all the comic books drawn by really cool people who aren't into nasty stuff. Or a fed like Dustin. Y'all fed on the show. I ain't saying nothing more. That's it. I smell pork. I smell bacon.
I need an Indie Volt tattoo now. This is... I like Varian. He's a good fucker.
Don't encourage him. It'll just go straight to his head.
And guys, like everyone else said, and took my line, I am everywhere. So if you want to track me down, just go to Linktree indie_princess, and you can find all my links there. This weekend I will not be doing backer shots because I have other obligations I need to fill. But I will be bringing backer shots back next Saturday. So if anyone wants to come on backer shots, just let me know, and I will schedule you in. You guys have a good night.
Good night.